I bet you didn't know the untold secrets of Rome's rise and fall. Walk down any major city street today, look at the grand buildings, notice the columns, the arches. These are whispers from Rome. Think about the languages we speak. Many, like French, Spanish, and Italian, come directly from Latin. Our legal systems, our ideas of citizenship, even the very concept of a senate, these are Roman ideas. Rome is not just ancient history, it is alive all around us, shaping our world in countless ways. The Roman Empire was vast. It stretched from the misty moors of Britain to the hot sands of Syria. It encompassed the Mediterranean Sea, which they called Mare Nostrum, our sea. For centuries, Rome was the center of this world. Its power was immense, its culture was influential. The story of Rome is a story of incredible ambition. It is a story of innovation and of brutal conquest. It is a story that still holds vital lessons for us. Why do we still talk about Rome? Why does it fascinate us so? Perhaps it is the sheer scale of its achievements, or maybe it is the drama of its rise and supposed fall. We see reflections of our own societies in its triumphs and its troubles. Understanding Rome is, in some ways, understanding ourselves. This journey will explore Rome's story. How did a small village become a superpower? Let us delve into the heart of Roman civilization and see what we can find. Rome's beginnings are shrouded in myth. We all know the story of Romulus and Remus, the twin brothers, suckled by a she-wolf, founded a city on 7 hills. This is a powerful foundation story. It speaks of destiny and divine favor, but the reality was likely more modest. Archaeologists tell us of simple huts, small settlements on those famous hills. These gradually grew and merged. It was a slow, organic process of coming together. These early Romans were not alone. They were surrounded by other peoples. The Etruscans, to their north, were particularly influential. Rome was ruled by kings in its earliest period. Some of these kings may even have been Etruscan. They borrowed many things from their neighbors, their alphabet, their religious rituals, their engineering skills. This ability to learn and adapt was a key Roman strength. It helped them lay the groundwork for what was to come. Then came a dramatic shift. The Romans tired of kings. Around 509 BCE, they expelled their last monarch. They declared Rome a republic, a res publica, meaning the public thing or the people's affair. This was a radical idea. Power would no longer be in the hands of one man, it would be shared, at least in theory. The Roman Republic, for all its ideals, eventually faced immense pressures. As Rome grew, so did the ambitions of its powerful men. Generals commanded vast armies. They gained immense wealth and loyalty from their soldiers. This new dynamic threatened the old order. The late Republic was a time of turmoil. Civil wars became common. Figures like Marius, Sulla, and Pompey wielded enormous influence, often challenging the Senate's authority. Into this chaotic world stepped Julius Caesar, a brilliant general, a charismatic politician, and a masterful writer. His conquest of Gaul brought him fame and a fiercely loyal army. Caesar understood power. He knew how to manipulate public opinion. His ambition was boundless. When he crossed the Rubicon River with his army in 49 BCE, it was an act of defiance. It plunged Rome into another devastating civil war. He famously declared, "Alea iacta est, the die is cast." Caesar emerged victorious. He became dictator for life. Many believed he wanted to be king. This was too much for some senators. They saw him as a tyrant, destroying the republic. In 44 BCE, on the Ides of March, he was assassinated. His death did not restore the republic as the conspirators hoped. Instead, it unleashed another round of bloody power struggles. Rome was once again plunged into chaos. The Romans were incredible engineers. Their achievements still astound us. Think of the aqueducts. These immense structures carried fresh water for miles. They supplied cities with baths, fountains, and drinking water. This was a revolution in urban living. Then there were the roads. All roads lead to Rome, the saying goes. And it was true. They built over 50,000 miles of paved roads. These facilitated trade, communication, and the rapid movement of armies. Their public buildings were equally impressive. The Colosseum, an arena for gladiatorial games and public spectacles. The Pantheon, with its magnificent dome, a temple to all gods. These were not just functional structures. They were symbols of Roman power and ingenuity. The secret to many of these marvels was Roman concrete, a uniquely strong and versatile building material. It allowed them to create shapes and sizes previously unimaginable. This technical skill was a cornerstone of their dominance, but Rome's power was not just built on stone and concrete. They were also masters of psychological strategies, panem circenses, bread, and circuses. This was a famous phrase describing how Roman leaders kept the vast urban population content. Despite its grandeur, the Roman Empire was not immune to internal problems. Corruption became a serious issue. Officials in the provinces often enriched themselves at the expense of the local population. In Rome itself, securing political office could be incredibly expensive. This led to bribery and a focus on personal gain, rather than public service. The Praetorian Guard, the emperor's personal bodyguards, sometimes assassinated emperors and installed their own candidates. This political instability weakened the state from within. Economic troubles also plagued the later empire. Rome relied heavily on expansion and conquest for wealth and slaves. When expansion slowed, so did this income. The vast military and bureaucracy were expensive to maintain. To meet costs, emperors sometimes debased the currency. They mixed base metals with silver and gold. This led to inflation. Prices soared and the value of money plummeted. Trade suffered. The gap between the rich and the poor widened, creating social unrest. Nature also dealt devastating blows. Plagues swept through the empire. The Antonine Plague in the 2nd century CE, likely smallpox, killed millions. It severely affected the army and the workforce. Later plagues had similar catastrophic effects. These pandemics weakened Rome demographically and economically. When we talk about the fall of Rome, we usually mean the Western Roman Empire. The traditional date given is 476 CE. This was when the last Western Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was deposed by a Germanic chieftain. But this is not the whole story. The Eastern Roman Empire, with its capital in Constantinople, modern Istanbul, continued to thrive. This eastern part is often called the Byzantine Empire by historians, but they called themselves Romans. The Byzantine Empire preserved Roman traditions for another 1,000 years. They maintained Roman law, they continued Roman administrative practices. Greek became the dominant language, but Latin was still used. Constantinople was a vibrant, wealthy city. It was a center of Christianity, art, and learning. While Western Europe fragmented into smaller kingdoms, Byzantium stood as a beacon of classical civilization. So, in a very real sense, Rome did not completely fall in 476 CE, it simply shifted its center of gravity. Even in the West, Rome's legacy endured powerfully. The Latin language evolved into the Romance languages, Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and Romanian. Roman law formed the basis for many modern European legal systems. The Roman Catholic Church, centered in Rome, became a dominant spiritual and cultural force throughout the Middle Ages. It preserved Latin learning and Roman administrative structures. The idea of Rome continued to inspire. Architecturally, Roman styles were revived during the Renaissance and beyond. So did Rome ever truly fall, or did it simply transform? This is a question historians still debate. If we define fall as a sudden collapse, then perhaps not. It was more of a long, slow evolution. The Western Empire faded, but its eastern counterpart flourished. Its cultural and legal systems were adopted and adapted. Its ideas continued to shape the world. Perhaps it's more accurate to say Rome changed, rather than vanished completely. Looking back at Rome, we can see parallels with our own times. We see mighty empires facing internal divisions. We see economic challenges and the pressures of maintaining global power. We see the impact of pandemics and environmental changes. The Romans struggled with issues of citizenship, immigration, and social inequality. These are not new problems. They are timeless challenges that civilizations have faced throughout history. Rome's story offers us a vast case study. What can we learn from Rome's secrets? Perhaps the importance of adaptability. Rome thrived for so long because it was able to change and incorporate new peoples and ideas. We can also learn about the dangers of overreach and internal decay. Corruption and the loss of public trust can cripple even the mightiest state. The balance between central authority and individual liberty was a constant Roman concern, as it is for us. Ultimately, the story of Rome is a human story. It is about ambition and achievement, but also about flaws and failures. By studying Rome, its rise, its long dominance, and its eventual transformation, we gain a deeper perspective on our own world.